Hello everybody and welcome to my, what do we call this, shall we say, a new series, my Platinum Review series. So I'm going to start making videos much like this one. This is going to be the first. Hello to all my first viewers out there catching this series for the first time. I guess this is something new we're experimenting with. I hate these fucking ads. Fuck websites. I have an ad blocker. It's not working. Fuck this shit. Now, I'm here to talk about the Tormented Souls Platinum. This was a game that I had finished very recently. As you can see, we got our Platinum trophy here. S rank, 100%. Hell yeah. But, yeah, I figured I would talk about the game, my experience with it, what I thought of the Platinum trophy itself, getting all the trophies in the game, and just my overall experience with the game and how I enjoyed it, and if it's a good game that I would recommend other people would platinum. Or even play, for that matter. Yeah, so honestly, with Tormented Souls, I had a lot of fun with this game. One thing I'll say straight out the gate, I almost said straight out the bat. I've been doing that a lot lately, like taking two different phrases and combining them, and then it's just like, what? Yeah, with this game, the first thing I will say straight out the gate is, if you are a fan of old school survival horror, namely, in particular, the Resident Evil franchise, like back from the days on PS1, or even Silent Hill, if you played that way back when as well, this game was a really neat, nice throwback to that style of gameplay. And honestly, it took me so by surprise. I did not see this game coming. Like, this game came the fuck out of nowhere. Like, what? What is this? What is this gem of a game? And it immediately caught my eye. I noticed when it came out, like, I didn't even know about this game's development. I hadn't seen trailers or articles on it or anything. The game just came out. It dropped. And then, you know, I saw some people streaming it. I tuned in and I was like, whoa, this looks right up my alley, because I am a huge fan of not only Resident Evil, but also most recently Silent Hill. I got into the franchise just this year, actually, as recent as that. So, but I grew up on old school Resident Evil, so to me, this game's gameplay was right at home. Like, I love it, but I know it's not for everyone, and I really want to stress that fact, because this style of gameplay, like fixed camera and tank controls, not for everyone. I would assume that most modern gamers out there would fucking hate games like this. Not to mention, these games make absolutely, or, well, more specifically, this game in particular, makes absolutely no effort to hold your hand. Like, this game says, fuck you, figure it out, like the old school way of gaming. That was my generation, when we were coming up. That's how games were. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have guides. If we were stuck, we were fucked. And you just had to play and beat your head against the wall until you eventually figured out what you were supposed to do. That is exactly this game in its true essence. This game really shows that old school feel that games had way back in the day. And like I was more on what I was saying before, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you came up from that age group and you loved old school Resident Evil or Silent Hill, you will love this game. It is a must-buy. It is a guarantee. I could promise you that anyone who loved those franchises from back in the day would love this game, or at the very least respect it and or appreciate it, because the devs really did a good job to make you feel that same way again, to relive that experience for the first time, but in the modern day. And honestly, I am thoroughly impressed by this game. Now, if you are thinking of picking up this game or considering playing it or buying it for yourself, one thing I would say about this game is that this is a type of game where, like, if you just follow a walkthrough or look up what you're supposed to do, you're just not experiencing the game for how it was meant to be experienced, and that's the thing. Like, but also, this game has a lot of puzzles. I don't know how many of you guys out there watching are puzzle people. Some games have puzzles, some games don't, but some games really go all out on puzzles and make you really fucking work those gears in your noggin. But, and this game 100% does that. This was one of the most difficult and challenging games I've ever played in terms of puzzles, or puzzle difficulty. This game does not throw its punches. It got really creative with a lot of the puzzles in the game. And this game is full of them. Like, it's just one puzzle after another. Like, if you ever thought that you were over that hurdle and that you finished all the puzzles, wrong! There's another one right around the corner. That's this game. And like I said, if you just look up the answers to all the puzzles, you're missing out on such an experience. Like, in my opinion, when you play a game like this, the fun of it comes from the satisfaction of figuring out what you're supposed to do yourself. That's, in my opinion, the best way to experience games like these. And to me, that's something that's very important. Like, I would hate to just look up a walkthrough on this game and play it. It just removes so much, if not all of the fun of the game. So I would encourage you guys to do that too. Like, play without a guide. Or if you're absolutely fucking stumped and you've been on a puzzle for like maybe an hour or even longer, then, and you feel like you want to kill yourself at that point, then yeah, you should probably go ahead and look up the answer. I wouldn't recommend letting the game make you be miserable for the sake of being like, oh, I gotta figure it out! But, yeah, like, don't kill yourself over it. Like, if you feel like you have to look up the answer and there's no way you're gonna figure it out for yourself, then look up the answer. I tried my damnedest not to, and impressively enough, I actually got through this entire game technically only having looked up the answer to one puzzle out of all the puzzles in the game, and there's, like, probably, like, 20 or some shit. I just pulled that number out of my ass. I don't know how many puzzles in the game there are. There's a lot, though, and they are, like I said, throughout the entirety of the game. They never let up. The puzzles are always fucking there, around every corner. But, yeah, this game was honestly a lot of fun, and this trophy list is actually very akin to, funny enough, I was talking about it a second ago, Resident Evil games trophy list. Resident Evil games have a very similar trophy list layout. If you've played any recent Resident Evil games, like, probably since 2017, I think, was when RE7 came out. Resident Evil, as a franchise, like, every game that's come out since then, has had a very similar, if not literally cut and paste, trophy list. Like, it's always the same shit. You play through the game, you find all the collectibles, maybe there's usually a trophy to beat the game on a certain difficulty. This game only has one difficulty, one set default difficulty. It never gets any harder or easier, so you just play it as is. And Resident Evil usually has trophies for, like, speed running or doing particular challenge runs, like getting through the game without healing, or getting through the game without being able to, like, pick up certain items or something, or you can't use certain weapons. This game has a very similar trophy list. It has a trophy to beat the game without saving. It has a trophy to beat the game in under 3 hours. And it also has a trophy to complete the game without using any health items. This is very similar to Resident Evil if you've played any of the recent ones, as I said. But honestly, none of these are unreasonable or undoable, and it's honestly a lot of fun. Because if you like this type of game, or survival horror in general, like, you will just have a lot of fun getting these trophies. And I know I did. Like, personally, I think this game is any survival horror fan's dream come true and an absolute blast to play. Like, it was a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually found all the collectibles in the game except 2 all by myself, which I was also very proud of that, because usually I have to, well, almost always I have to look up a guide, and by the time I get finished with a playthrough, I'll be missing collectibles and I won't have them all, and I'll be like, what the fuck, where did I miss them? And I almost always have to look it up. I came so close. I always try, because that's the type of trophy hunter I am. Like, there's 2 different trophy hunters in that regard, I suppose. Although, I don't think I've ever met anybody who follows a walkthrough on their first playthrough. I guess it would depend on the game. depending on how long it is or how difficult it is. Sometimes you would want to follow a walkthrough straight off the bat, because if a game just is like 100 hours long, you're definitely not going to want to miss shit or have to do another playthrough. Like, for example, The Witcher 3 is like that. That game has a bajillion missable trophies, and the game's like hundreds of hours long worth of content. So you would not want to do a second playthrough in that game, goes without saying. So that's a game, for example, where you would want to start the game and probably be following a walkthrough as well. But most of the time, I like to play my initial playthrough of a game without worrying about trophies at all. I feel like it's the most fun that way. That way I don't have to, like everything, I could take everything as an initial, like, surprise or a first-time viewing and be like, oh, that's cool, and kind of gain my own opinion, my own thoughts for what I'm experiencing and what I'm feeling. Because, you know, if you read a guide, your thoughts aren't always your own, depending. But, yeah, that's why I like my first playthrough to be completely blind most of the time. But like I said, it depends on the game. This is a great game to do that with, and, you know, if complete the game in under 3 hours wasn't any indicator, this is a short game. If you speedrun it, you could get it done, like, in under an hour, I think. I went and checked world record speedruns of this game, and people have gotten under an hour, so, yeah, this is... And a lot of the older Resident Evil games and Silent Hill games are very short, too. So, yeah, you'll feel right at home if you've played those games, and if you really like those games. Honestly, this game was fantastic. I loved it. And like I said, to any survival horror fan, or more specifically fans of Resident Evil, Silent Hill, old school gameplay, pick this one up. I highly recommend it. It is a blast to play. And wow, I actually was worried that I would go through this video mentioning some spoilers by accident or anything like that. But, you know, I did good. I managed to avoid spoilers completely and just talk about my experience with the game. But, yeah, it was a good one, and this was my most recent platinum, so definitely a big fan to have this one on my list. It's one that I'm proud of, definitely a memorable experience, and one that I very much enjoyed, and that you will too! Let me know how I did in this video. Did you guys like it? I don't really know what else to talk about. I pretty much covered everything that's relevant to this game, without, like I said, without talking about spoilers. So, definitely give this game a look. Also, if you want to check out my playthroughs of it, the VODs are on my channel. Maybe I'll post them in the description as well. If you want to see my journey through the game, I did play it completely and recorded my entire experience with the game, all my playthroughs, right up till the platinum. So if you wanted to check that out or follow along, you can do that. The option is there. I also made a Path to Platinum on this game, and if you're not familiar with my Path to Platinum videos, it is a completed walkthrough guide all in one video covering every trophy in the game, showing you how to platinum, so you could do that as well. If you want to check that out, give that a watch, you could do that, because this game has a lot of collectibles that you could potentially miss, and if you don't want to miss them, you might want to follow a guide, and, you know, there's always mine. So, it's an option. But yes, of course, and if you guys enjoyed this video, then please go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course hit that notification bell to support me. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, again, let me know how I did. Let me know if you liked this video, how, like, the things I talked about, how I went about it, if I should have talked about anything else. Give me some feedback. Give me some constructive criticism. Because I think this is a cool idea for a video series, but I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinion on it. And I want to make these videos as enjoyable for you guys as possible. So please, I'm all ears. Fill me up. Let it rip. But anyways, that's going to be it for me. Oh, and of course, I live stream all the time, every week. So I'll post my schedule in the description as well, in case you want to tune in for live streams. And more trophy hunting in the future. Different games, different places, different times. Well, not different places, always in this room, actually. That's gonna be it! Have a good one, everybody. Take it easy, and I will definitely see you in the next one.